Dear listeners, enthusiastic greetings and a very, very warm welcome to another episode of the Megrow podcast. I record this cast on the 21st of October 2021 and you're already listening to the 23rd installment of our show. Apologies for a bit of background noise, my normal quiet studio is not available, so this is a home recording. Apologies for that. This episode is in addition to our ERM in 3 minutes knowledge series. Today I'm going to talk about risk maturity. Risk maturity is a super, probably the best tool to measure the efficiency and the effectiveness of your and any organization's ERM efforts, and that's why it's at the heart of today's show. The big question is actually, how is it all going? So setting up and implementing an ERM framework is a substantial resource commitment. Hence both the practitioners and their stakeholders, not the stakeholders, often wonder whether their efforts are on the right track. So literally, the $1 million plus question is, how do we know we are doing the right things and we do them well? I like this question for two reasons. Firstly, the question, or rather how it is phrased, is a tangible sign of engagement. People do care. And secondly, the engagement manifests itself beyond just doing by asking the how well are we doing question. We have a few tools at hand to assess the output of our ERM work. I mention 3 of them here and spend a little extra time on my favorite one. So for instance, you can perform scenario analysis trying to gauge how effective and efficient your ERM is, or rather would have been, for a given historic and or imaginative future scenario. For example, how effective would your insurance policy have mitigated the financial consequences of a theft loss at your premise? The question is straightforward, and so is the answer. A very helpful way of looking into the effectiveness and your risk mitigation effort for single, rather well-defined, more tactical type of risks. Another popular approach is to engage in a conversation with an external party, for instance a credit rating agency, to evaluate your ERM efforts. All major credit rating agencies specifically look at the firm's ERM efforts and gauge it against industry good practice and other standards. And then, ladies and gentlemen, there is my preferred approach, the third way, the risk maturity approach. In the very simplest way, risk maturity tells you how well your ERM efforts are integrated with strategy, business planning, and hence your medium to long-term competitive position, and all benchmarked against globally accepted methodological standards. In other words, simple words, are you ahead of the curve, cruising with the pack, or trailing behind? In a nutshell, any risk maturity framework grades your ERM-related efforts and outcomes into categories. For simplicity's sake, I use just 3 categories and label them as number 1, Spartan, number 2, good enough, and number 3, world-class. Different frameworks use different ways and words to describe their levels or grades. However, in essence, it is feedback that gauges your efforts and the outcomes in either 3 or 4 or 5 tier type of scales. Crucially, you can adopt any of the widely popular risk maturity frameworks. Just use the search engine of your preference to find one. There is no need to reinvent the wheel and devise your own risk maturity framework. Believe me, really no need to do that. Better use these resources to refine risk quantifications. If you need inspiration, head over to my encouragement style rant in episode 2022. However, I always recommend tailoring any framework to your organization's specific circumstances. The overarching risk management framework needs to match your organization's complexity and reflect your ambitions. I also always suggest you choose terminology, more specifically vocabulary words, that your internal and external stakeholders are comfortable with. On a closing note, globally and across all industries, all organizations have moved and continue to move from my level 1 Spartan to level 2 good enough. This path of gradual improvement is good news and reflects organizations' adaptation of ERM over time. Having said that, I still believe that too many organizations hover dangerously close to the Spartan level. This is the proverbial call to action for all of us risk practitioners. We must do more work to convince our stakeholders that good ERM brings tangible benefits to any undertaking for the strategy, the planning, and the day-to-day execution. We at Megrow make your journey up the risk maturity ladder efficient and effective. Contact us via our website www.megrow.asia. Then we can discuss how our experience, expertise and enthusiasm will support your ERM journey. Thank you very much for staying with me during the past few minutes. More videos of our ERM knowledge series are on Megrow's YouTube channel. Head over, listen, watch and subscribe to the channel to receive automatic updates. In the meantime, enjoy whatever you are doing, stay safe, and until next time, goodbye.